God damn it! I wish that was all. I wish that was the opening to the episode. Was
I
shut the
mean,
fuck up, fuckface.
that's right, Billy Ripken.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, fuckface.
Um, so yeah, we're supposed to talk about songs and stuff, but we're hooked on 89 Fleer baseball cards. So that's what you're gonna get. Uh,
Yep. This
so
is the
this is
'89 Fleer baseball set
yeah,
podcast episode. So
yeah. So Bob starts going through his cards tonight, apparently, and starts sending me some texts and pictures of these, old, not old, but like 80s Phillies cards. And the 89 Steve Bedrosian Fleer card. I immediately chimed back with, oh, yeah, the famous Billy Ripken card you're set. And Rich, what did you just buy?
I just bought the uncensored fuckface Billy Ripken card from that Fleer set. Like I said, I don't know if it's real or not. Like it looks really like it's in great shape, but I got it cheap and it's a cool card.
yeah, I mean, worse was worse. Look, it's kind of like to me that card. First of all, I don't think anybody's gonna rip that card off. I mean,
Back in the day, but like you're right
yeah,
now, it's yeah.
yeah. Back in the day, I think it was in the hundreds at
Yeah.
one point. Um, but I think it's safe, and regardless, it's cool to have. Kind of like how so I'm going through my cards, and I'm probably gonna start getting rid of some, or at least get them organized so I know what I have.
Mm.
And any Rusty Cunts cards that I find, I'm setting aside.
There you go.
Just like when I find my Ruben Amaro cards, I'm setting them aside so that when we have a bonfire this summer, I can burn them.
Ruin Tomorrow?
Yeah, Ruin Tomorrow Jr.
Oh, Ruin Tomorrow.
That
Yeah.
fucking piece of shit.
Oh no, we're gonna dive in. Whenever we do start doing some video stuff, we've talked about that. We'll do a baseball card or maybe a sports card or whatever.
Or
And
trading. We should do trading card because Rich, I'm
Yeah.
sure you have some cool like non-sports trading cards, right?
I do, but I've been buying a couple of baseball cards here. I guess when I started making like real money as opposed to like eating ramen noodles and stuff, I'm like, well, I really like this baseball player, and I always wanted his rookie card, and so I picked up the George Brett. It's not in great condition, but I got his rookie.
Nice.
I got Schmidt's rookie in a PSA 5, so I didn't pay
Oh,
a whole
get
lot for
out!
that.
Really?
Yeah, I think I paid less than 100 for that. It wasn't terrible. But the other cool thing I got was one of the Desert Storm cards, the ones you can only get if you were in the army.
yes,
Yeah. The ones
Yeah,
they had on the overseas bases.
yeah, I picked up the Brett and that, and then what I've been doing is I've been picking up signed balls and putting them in these. I forget the name of the Ultra Pro. They're Ultra Pro like cases where you can put the card next to the ball kind of thing for a display.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But for the non-sports cards, yeah, I got the everything spiked during COVID too. But even before that, from a kid, when I was a kid, I have the first three Marvel sets with the holograms.
Oh, cool.
They're still in a binder. I have a promo card of Cindy Crawford. I don't know what it was a
Okay.
promo card for, but it's just Cindy Crawford in cut-off jean shorts.
So it was a promo card for puberty.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I still have some Playboy cards from when I was a kid too, like buying them at the Berlin Farmers Market.
I didn't know they had. Oh wait, no, I do remember Playboy cards.
They had a couple of different,
vaguely. Because you
Yeah,
were the only way I knew about them, and I'm sorry, I'm going to rat you out. The only way I knew about them was because of you.
Playboy and Penthouse. They both had card sets, and Hustler too. I don't think I have any Hustler cards. Had them as a kid. I don't know what happened to them.
I know what happened to them. Come on now, we all know what happened to them.
Womp womp.
Oh no, they were always stored. They were always stored in plastic. You would just throw away the plastic and put another plastic sleeve on them.
Card condoms.
Yeah,
that was the crazy thing back then too. I mean, they literally had cards for everything. It was so popular, and it was
somewhere I have Rich was talking about the Desert Storm, the baseball cards. So Tops in 91 made their base set, but then they also made the base set with these little like gold foil stamps on them it was the Desert Storm set.
Yeah.
Well, they also produced a Desert Storm baseball or collector card set. So it's got I have a Norman Schwarzkopf card somewhere, I have stickers from like the different battalions and the different wings and stuff that went in.
What's great about the Desert Storm cards is they made them, again, what was the 90s, so it was the same time that baseball cards were really taking off, the whole junk wax kind of thing, where everybody bought the Desert Storm cards. And to this day, you can't go to a flea market or a antique mall or a yard sale where there's not at least one unopened box of them. People spec on them so hard that they're worth like nothing.
Yeah, it's
It's
so
awesome.
bizarre. Well,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and I'm glad they're worth nothing. Like, here's the thing,
Yeah.
man. You know what? It's cool to celebrate our military. Absolutely is. But this is borderline war profiteering at this point. Like, how are you selling baseball cards to kids with fucking AK-47s and shit on?
Well, they weren't selling them to kids. If you remember, around the same time, you could mail order the serial killer cards too, and they're worth a little more because you had to mail order them. But there were still so many of them made that it's not a whole lot.
Yeah, and a lot of those were produced by some very third-rate companies too. So, I mean,
well, that one, the one was the official one, quote unquote, was by Topps.
yeah, I remember that. But like some of the other ones, like the oddball, obscure ones, were just put together by just, you know, I always hate to say this, but in baseball card terms, like the classics of the world.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, that's true. Oh, poor classic.
Yeah. Although it's funny, you and I were kind of going back and forth, and I was thinking about I've got one of those Derek Jeter cream of the crop classic rookie cards, and kid you not, those graded 10 cards go for over $1,000 now.
Get out.
For classic. I was like,
That's ridiculous.
That's insane.
No, not for a classic. No, fuck off.
Yeah, I was shocked too. I was like, what?
Well, like, and that's how I know when I'm going through these cards, and whenever I get to a stack and it's like stuck together, I know I'm hitting a bunch of classics because they're so poorly made that whatever gloss they used on them, just like, I guess from the heat, has like melted them together, and I've got to like pop them apart.
Upper Deck did that too for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like the extra glossiness, yeah.
And Score was fucking terrible with it. Like the Pinnacle cards, I love to this day. I still love. I believe it was the 90. Was it 92 or 93? Was the one really nice Pinnacle set. It was followed up. Maybe it was 92 and 93 were two separate sets, and they were both really nice. Or maybe it was 93 and 94. But beautiful, beautiful card set. And like I'm seeing them going through, and I'm like, wow, that is a really nice card. And then I found a fucking Ruben Amaro of it. And I'm like, well, that's fucking ruined.
What was the oh gosh, the was it 91 Fleer? Those yellow cards.
Yes, 91 Fleer. I have a ton of those fucking things.
Yeah,
too.
Those things to me rivaled like 89 tops for as many as there were out there.
Yep.
There are just so many of them.
Yeah, if there's ever a toilet paper shortage, you can wipe your ass with them.
That in the 91 the Donruss cards, were like the blue border.
Yeah, they had the two sets. They had the blue ones and the green ones.
Yes, yeah.
Different series. Yeah, them, and there was another one that I'm just seeing oodles of them in the boxes of cards. Obviously anything Topps from 88 to like 94 was just so ubiquitous. You could find it like anywhere. It was just everywhere. Like people, they were giving them out at that point, I feel like.
So now that we've kind of gone down this road, I mean, we might as well just keep on going. Do you guys like have a particular favorite? Like, doesn't have to be like rare or anything. Could be a mass produced one, there's so many out there, like we've once talked about. Do you have like a favorite style that you just really are drawn to?
So
was it 86 Topps with the wood
87.
87, yeah.
Yeah, that was 87.
As a kid, I used to love them. Thought they were cool. I don't know why.
No, listen, that's
that
on mine too. That's mine. So 87 Topps, 86 Topps. I really like the ones with the black. It was a black and white border. The top was black and it had the team name in big like colorful letters, and then the bottom half of the border was white.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked them. 85 was a really good looking set too. '84 was kind of cool because it had the little portrait of them, and then it had the main picture on the front. Um, but so did, was it Donruss? No, 80. It went like Topps really knocked it out of the park for the first half of the '80s, or even for, I'll say even from 1980 to 1989. I thought Topps had the best looking cards on the marketplace.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I agree. I actually have every top set baseball from like 81 to about 2006 complete.
Nice,
Um, Not that they're worth anything,
right?
uh, but I collected them when I was a kid, and I agree. Topps just really had a nice look to them in the 80s, and I agree with Rich. That's probably one of my favorites is 87. I have a special place in my heart for 86, only because that's the first time I remember touching a baseball card. Was an 86 Topps. And I just like Bob. I agree. Like that black with the really colorful, bold team names up top, and just really crisp. And that's a hard set to find anything where it's in just great shape because of the contrast.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people do Sharpie touch ups over the years, and it's like, ugh.
Well,
you
that's
know,
like I remember. So when I was little, at one point when I lived in the very first house I lived in Woodbury on DuBois Avenue, um, I remember certain little things from that, and that was like 84, 85 ish. And so I remember going down to the corner store and getting Garbage Pail Kids, getting muscle figures in the little trash cans, and getting baseball cards. And I remember taping all of my baseball cards to my wall with Scotch tape, like making like a border around my wall and ruining apparently a ton of good cards. Um, my dad saved me from putting a Don Mattingly rookie card in the spokes of my bike. Um, so it was it was just kind of like stupid of me, but I was a little kid and I wanted to decorate, so that's what I did. But yeah, man, there's some really good sets from Topps in the '80s. They kind of fell off. I felt like a little bit in the '90s, and then by 2000, everybody was just a shit show.
Yeah, it got really weird for me after all the. Don't get me wrong, I thought it was cool, but the insert stuff really started hitting big. And don't get me wrong, I think that was kind of the cool part of the hunt. It's still then, even when I was still collecting, but it got way out of hand to
Mhm.
me. And then you got this like really bizarre stuff where you're like trying to hunt for one of three or one of one, and it's
Right.
like you're never gonna get it. I mean, it was because it was akin to winning the lottery, basically, and I don't know, and it was still cool because I mean they had these. The later '90s stuff or in the early 2000s, like the Topps Finest, the Bowman's Finest, that stuff I thought was really nice.
Oh, Stadium Club.
Ooh, yeah, they had good quality stuff.
Yeah, Stadium Club was outstanding. Um, I do remember too a fond baseball card related memory when I was uh, working as an usher for the Phillies in '96. I won on Easter Sunday. The game was getting rained out, like there was nothing going on, and so I was at the stadium, but there was nothing to do because and Fleer had a thing set up where you could spin a wheel and win packs of cards. So won I won a bunch of packs of cards, and one of the cards I won was a redemption card, and it was a home run king Manny Ramirez card, and it had balsa wood on it, and it was printed on balsa wood.
Hmm.
And that was just one of the coolest cards I'd ever gotten in my life. That, and then that same year, at Heritage's on Kings Highway, I pulled right before the All-Star game. It was called I don't remember, Hats Off or something like that. And it was a Greg Maddux card, and it had like felt on it or some shit. I don't know. It was a really cool card though.
Did you either of you guys collect the wrestling cards in the '80s, '90s?
Yes.
Rich, did you have any of those WCW, WWF cards at all?
Back then I did. I don't have any of them anymore. I think like I don't have any old baseball cards anymore either. I asked my mom about them, and I think we either sold them at a yard sale or got rid of them. But actually, sitting right next to me, I know we don't have the camera on anymore, but there's a toy store down the street from me that I'm at all the time, and he had a couple of the WCW cards and these chrome. What the hell are they? They're Topps Chrome. I think they're heritage cards from WWF or WWE. So the heritage Chrome is pretty cool, but the WCW ones are just awesome because they're from '91 Impel.
Impel,
Oh
yeah.
my god, yeah,
Yeah.
they used to make minor league baseball cards.
They're neon colors on the border, all different colors with little speckles on it, so it looks like a neon barf kind of thing.
Oh,
We got-
so all right. I'm gonna text you boys this. So it doesn't really help for our listening audience, but
I got the Steiner brothers with a skinny. Actually, I guess he's bulking up a little bit, but he's not quite
it's
Super
not
Scott
Scott
Steiner yet.
yet.
Yeah,
He
no,
wasn't quite Big Papa Pump yet.
not yet. Here's Lex Luthor rather.
So I know exactly which one you're talking about because there's a Sting and Ric Flair card that has been memed out, and it's actually going around the internet right now, and it's got him, and they have his name as Tit Rubber. And they have so it's got the front and the back. So I just texted it to you, and it says on the back, it's got his picture. It says Tit Rubber, height 6'1", attitude bad, hair beautiful. Step into the ring with significant tit meat, and boy, I am gonna rub them tits down. Slap my hand on them tits, I will. Then I'll press real hard, and you'll scream. You'll say, "Not my precious tits," but I will say, "Oh yeah, goodbye, tits. I will rub your tit meat in the dust, you piss. Nobody got better tit meat than me."
Oh, that's so good.
As cool as that is, I got a chrome Steven Richards WWE card sitting right here next to me.
Oh,
Take
man.
that any day. Yes.
Dude.
Is it a right to censor Stevie Richards, or is it
No, it looks it's just he's in his regular gear, but it's a Steven Richards, not Stevie Richards, because whatever.
Yeah.
Billy Graham. He just gave these to me too, which is awesome.
Yeah, so your mic was breaking up when you were saying who gave them to you.
Oh, there's a toy store down the street from me, and I go to a lot, so I become friends with the guy that owns it. So I was in there buying stuff one day, and he just, "You like wrestling?" I said, "Yeah, here, take these cards."
Nice.
Like, okay, cool.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to go through. I've got a lot of my stuff is all in storage, but a lot of baseball cards, but I do have a lot of stuff from when I was a kid, card wise. A lot of wrestling cards, but they're like you said, Rich, those old WCW cards. I do have a lot of the old WWF cards with they just kind of, I'm gonna say it goes back to like the real late 80s, maybe 90, 91-ish. But I can just remember like the Mountie and Big Boss Man and some of those guys on them. It's funny you mentioned Impel, and Bob, you mentioned that too. They made minor league cards. And I've got some of those, and I just wonder if any of them I have anybody of significance. Just it really strikes my curiosity now. Not that they're worth anything, but like, did they at least become a major league ball player?
I had I can't remember who I'll never remember whose name it was, but I had somebody that I actually had major league cards of like a few years after I got the Impel cards. But I just can't remember who the heck it was. I think I might have had a Kenny Lofton, but I think that was the best one I had.
I remember that those are a lot of white border, and then they had kind of a color base, correct? Like with the name in it.
And then there was some that there's one set that I had, and I believe it was Impel. It could have been somebody else, but there were like 3 different borders. There was a red border, a yellow border, and a blue border. And I don't remember if it was like single A, double A, triple A, or what the breakdown was. But I remember those sets.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was Impel.
It's cool because like I've got a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna have to go through my stuff at some point. I mean, heck, a lot of the stuff I have was boxed up in 2006 and never touched again. So
right,
I really need to start going through it and I think about it. That wasn't yesterday, so
No, it was not. No, but it's funny, we were talking shit on Classic, but that's who made the WWE cards back in the day.
That's right. Yeah, that's why they're not worth a shit, are they?
Exactly.
Actually, some, like I said, everything went up during COVID, so some of them are worth a little bit, or people are trying to get stuff out of them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember collecting Coco Beware cards.
Coco Beware.
Yeah. Coco Beware, Hogan, Ultimate Warrior.
I was trying to see who made them, but as I remember going back to other weird cards, just my mom was at Berlin Farmers. You sell every weekend with my grandma, so I was down there a lot, and I had a pile of like NFL cheerleader cards too.
I remember them.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Pro Set? Didn't Pro Set make them?
Was it Pro Set? It made in Pro Set.
Was it Pro? Yeah, was it Pro Line? Pro Set? What was that?
Or Pro?
No, Pro Line was Pro Line's a protector, right?
Right.
So yeah, Pro. Yeah, it was, oh gosh, it was like 90-91, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, because I remember getting those at Wawa.
I miss when Wawa sold cards.
Those yeah, because if I remember correct, no, I'm not thinking. It's not those. It's what year? There's a because I have a lot of those Pro Sets too.
It had to be in the 90s.
Yeah, that's the
90s. Yeah.
But there was another. Gosh, I'm trying to think too. I remember the Pro Sets, but there was another 90-91 football set, and the name's escaping me right now. It wasn't Pro Set though, but they basically the card was very simple. It was just a picture, and then it had like maybe a name underneath with the team, but it was almost like a not like an action shot. Oh gosh, what was that called? It was because it was almost like a studio picture, and there were NFL cards.
I know what you're talking about.
Right,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I'm not crazy.
No, it was. Oh, what the hell were they called? I want to say it was something like Pro. It was Pro Line,
something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
These cheerleader cards are made by a company called Lime Rock. Apparently,
Okay.
I never heard of Lime Rock.
Okay, yeah. You know what? It was called Pro Line Portraits.
Pro Line Portraits, yeah. Because there's some really goofy stuff. Because you have like, they're not. Yeah, because I'm looking at some now.
Like they're wearing jeans or just wearing freaking.
Well, I think I just watched a video of the guy open a box of them.
Yeah, they're really.
He rated them for how cheesy they were.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I remember getting a box of those and going through them when I was a kid, and they're really strange. But I remember some of those did have cheerleaders as well, in there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, the other set, since we're talking about football, the one that's always stuck out in my mind and I thought was one of the coolest ever was the 1986 Topps. Do you guys remember that one at all?
The 1986 Topps football?
Yeah.
I didn't do football cards.
I did very few, but that's the I just looked it up. Yeah, that's the green border ones. Yeah, that's right. Because it had they had some classic ones in there. Yeah, I didn't do much football. I think I have a handful of these, but not a lot.
Oh, I love those ones. I had those, and I had a shit ton of the 1987 ones. I don't really even remember how I got them, but I just ended up with this stack of 1987 Topps football. I loved them. Absolutely.
Do you guys remember? And when I looked at this, because I think I have this in my garage somewhere, that they sold sheets of cards, or at least they had sheets of cards, and I never could quite figure out what that was about.
So it was like, I remember promo sets where they would do promo like uncut sheets, and it was a big deal because, oh, look at this, you get the uncut sheet. They haven't even made them in actual cards yet. And like they would put them in comic books and magazines and stuff. And there was a point where those were worth some decent money. But I never, like you, I never really understood the whole concept. Like, why would I want an uncut sheet of cards? How am I going to keep that from getting screwed up?
Well, that to me, and I, thinking about it too, because it's like you can have, let's say, a 6-card sheet, right? You can have like 5 legitimate stars, and then like,
Billy Ripken.
Well, like I don't know, like the placeholder. You know what I mean? Like
right.
or like and dude, I could be wrong in thinking this, but I mean, these things I don't think they were always all players. Like I want to say that sometimes they would put in like the checklist or something. So it was just
Oh yeah,
bizarre.
it was the collation. There was a I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. There's a guy that opens up crap, but one video he did I think he spent like 3 or 4 grand on this box from the 70s. I forget what year it was, but like apparently that year there was collation issues with the factory, so you could get the same like 12 cards over and over and over again. And that's all you got in all the packs. And yeah, that's because they would put everything on that one sheet, and then you would have so many of those sheets cut up into your box.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's supposed to help keep it random. But like I said, if a factory error happens where you just get the same one over and over and over again, you're kind of screwed.
Oh, that's so
But
funny.
yeah,
That's so funny. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. Like, and it's funny thinking about, because I haven't, gosh, I can't remember the last time I even opened a recent pack of cards but I was actually one of those things. It's funny that we'll be talking about this. Was that I remember like, opening the pack of cards and kind of one being like really disappointed that I found a checklist, but I knew and deep down that I needed to complete the set.
Yeah.
there's also the manager cards. You'd open it up and you get like some 70-year-old guy
Yeah.
as one of the cards.
How many
Dude, you know how
Sparky
many
Anderson
Sparky,
ones?
yeah, I was just gonna say Spark Anderson. Yeah,
You know how many
It's, like, stuck
Sparky
in your head.
Anderson, Nick Leva, Jim Fregosi
Nick
cards I
Leva.
have? Like,
Tommy Lasorda was cool because at least he was like Tommy Lasorda, that guy.
right.
But other
Yeah.
than that, it was
Oh God, yeah, Sparky friggin' Anderson. Yeah, he was a big one. Or whenever Pete Rose was the player coach or the player manager.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. But yeah, no, it's so funny how that stuff it evolves so much later on. I don't know that. I guess they don't put managers anymore, and they haven't for a long time. I'm sure there's some set out there that does, but that stuff was so common when we were kids,
Yeah.
and it was just kind of like a buzzkill. It's like, oh, here we go. Here's another Nick Leva.
Right.
Well, you had to hit that 700 card per set.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Is that so? There's another funny thing too, and so you've had like the regular version because of that reason. It's like I have to hit the 792 in the top set, so it's like I have the regular version of the player, and then I have like the all-star version of the
all-star version.
player,
Yep.
and then I have the one where they won this award, and then I have
Right.
this one where there's 3 of them on the same, like them and 2 teammates on the same
Yeah.
card. It's like, why are they in
And
a set
then-
7 times?
And then there was the all-star cards, the separate like special white all-star cards that you would get if you bought the 3 or the 36 card pack, where it was like the 3 in the
Yeah,
cellophane.
the rack
Oh
pack.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man. Gosh, okay, so kind of in the same card vein though, did you guys do the Panini sticker books?
I did when I was young.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure as a kid, like not the baseball. I
Yeah,
remember seeing baseball sticker, but no, like real Ghostbusters or Turtles or whatever was out at the time.
Didn't Thundercats have one?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
They were like right next to the register, and you could get like the sticker packs for like cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They were like a
Yeah.
dime.
Yeah.
Because I remember doing those, or I remember doing baseball ones too, just because I was such a big baseball fan.
Yeah, I remember having I remember doing them for like different things that I liked, like I'm pretty sure I had like Transformers and Ghostbusters and stuff. But I remember specifically hockey. But I don't remember. I'm sure I had baseball and stuff too.
Dude,
but I can
look up
specifically remember hockey.
Bob, you had look up 1989 Panini baseball sticker, and once you see that thing, you're gonna have a flashback.
Okay. Good one or a bad one?
No, good. It's because it just reminds me so much of being a kid.
All right, let's see. Oh my god, I did have that.
I knew it.
Holy shit, I did have that.
I knew it.
What year was it?
1989.
It's got Jose Ken strikeout on the front.
Yep.
Shit, I think that one got mailed out to everybody. And it was only 69 cents. Nice. Or 59 cents Canadian.
Yeah, it looks like the sticker packs were 6 stickers for 30 cents. My
Shoot,
goodness.
You can't beat that.
Yeah.
I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this one, these dumbasses stuck the stickers to the front on this one that I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's
But
so
yeah,
funny.
dude, that's so cool. I completely forgot that I had the baseball one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. We got to just talking about this, and it just kind of, I love how the brain operates, and
Yeah.
it's it's funny though. I looked that up in like about third row down on Google Images. Billy Ripken.
But see
Nice.
now, for me, it showed Randy Johnson. I got the big unit staring at me.
Mm.
Oh, my favorite memory about Randy Johnson will ever be, well, first of all, his name is fucking hilarious. And then his nickname is even funnier. But when he threw that ball, or when he threw that pitch and it hit the bird and the bird exploded, that, and then his interaction with John
John
Kruk at the
Kruk.
All-Star game.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. He was, and it's funny too with him. He's one of those few guys because he was 6'10".
Yeah, he was huge.
He was so dominant for so long too. It was ridiculous. Just
Right.
such a good pitcher. But oh man, this is a great trip down memory lane just looking at some of this stuff. But my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, it's funny, man. It's really funny because the stuff that like you'll start thinking about when like I was looking at, I think it was the 92 Fleer set, which was the green one where it looked, do you remember that one where it was like a light green and it faded to like an even lighter green at the bottom?
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I remember being down in Ocean City at one of the beach houses that we stayed at when we went down the shore and buying packs of them. Like it's funny, like the memories that come with specific sets and stuff like that. Like because those ones, and I remember with those always being on the lookout for the same ones that I was on the lookout. The only reason I bought the yellow Fleer, the 91 Fleer, was remember the art cards that came in them?
Yeah, I do.
Well, and they were in that green set too. And I remember just buying packs of those two sets. I didn't care about the card set itself. I just wanted those inserts. Well, they weren't even inserts. They were part of the main set, I believe.
Yeah,
Um,
it was kind of as they were kind of they took the whole insert thing was funny because they basically took like cards that were already part of the set and they just kind of started transitioning them out of the main set.
right. Like you had Diamond Kings went from being something that was part of every single Donruss set to, oh nope, now they're special. But they
Yes.
also took out the puzzle cards when they did that,
That's right.
which honestly, let's be real here. The puzzle cards sucked anyway. Hot take alert. The puzzle cards suck.
They didn't stain cards like the gum did, though.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
a big issue now. Like for all these unopened packs that have the gum in them, the gum is ruining cards.
Yeah.
Like I watched so along those same lines as you, Rich, with having too much time on their hands and just watching shit on YouTube. I watched somebody do an unboxing of Garbage Pail Kids with the gum in them, and there were some cards that like they had these oil stains on them from the damn gum.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, but in like 2000, let's say 2000, yeah, let's say 2000 maybe. So my mom had a box of 1989 tops, and it still had the gum in it. And guess whose dumbass decided he was going to try and eat some of the gum? It's fucking awful. It turned into dust, like it turned into this gravelly shit, and it actually broke one of my teeth. So it was overall, 3 out of 10.
Oh man, yeah, and here's the funny thing: when that gum was fresh, it was really not fresh. It was probably a year old anyway.
Right. Well, that's how they got it hard like that.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Oh man.
But
Oh yeah, but that's another thing too. And here's what's funny if you think about it. So that was so synonymous with baseball cards, especially in the '80s when we really get into it. And like it was just packaged next to a card. It wasn't in a specific wrapper by itself. It was just next to a baseball card. No big
right.
deal. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
fine. Stick it in your mouth, kid.
Yeah, just stick it in your mouth. Just put it in there.
So
Cram it in your mouth and start chewing.
Which is funny. So years and years ago, I got really big into like looking at really old cards, and I still have them. I have I don't remember the player offhand, but I thought it was such a good deal at the time that I bought it anyway. I've got a 19 teens cigarette card that I bought for $10, and the only reason why it was so cheap was because the player was a nobody for one, but the card had a cigarette burn through it,
Oh,
like
get
where
out.
somebody took the card and put their cigarette out on it, which I thought was awesome because to me that's like
Yes.
history. And so I have that somewhere, and then I have a 1930s Goody Gum card, which I thought was cool because there's a pretty famous Babe Ruth card that comes from the same year that I have. I don't have the Babe Ruth card, of course. I have some jackass, but I always got it's really fascinating. But my funniest one I found at a card show. I picked up this 1972 baseball card up, and the player happened to be named Tom Walker.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
the funny thing is that the player on the card, and I'm not kidding you, kind of looked like my dad, who happens to have the same name. And then I looked at the back of the card, and they were born in the same year, and I'm like, so then I asked my dad, I was like, "Is there something you're trying to not tell me here?" And he's like, "That's not me." And I was like, "But it really kind of looks like you." So I've got this 1972 Tom Walker card that the guy, at least to me, when I was younger, kind of looked like a younger version of my dad. So it was funny because it's like another no name player, but it's a kind of a cool keepsake.
Right. So, all right. Do you guys remember with sports cards back in the day, there was do you remember when how like you would have top sets, but then you would have OPG cards and they would look the damn same, but it would just
Well,
say OPG on them?
wasn't OPG just the Canadian version of Tops?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that's what it was.
What confused me more is you have the regular Tops, and then you got the Tops Tiffany, which just adds like a layer of gloss over the card.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah.
Like literally one Topps Tiffany card, and it's some nobody.
Tops does the OPG now as an insert set. Well, not an insert set, a chase card. I don't know what you want to call it, where they have in certain so many packs you get the OPG version of the card.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because I have a 1980 1981 Wayne Gretzky OPG card. It's his second year in the league, and I've got it. But the problem is, it was my cousin's, and there were that year. It just had the picture of the player, and then like a little diagonal line, and it said the team name, and then their information on the front was covered up by like lottery ticket scratch off stuff. And if you left it on there, you couldn't tell who they were, but you were able to read just what their position was. But you had to scrape off the stuff to see what their name was, or you just had to flip the card over. Well, he went through and scraped all the stuff off of all of them, and
Oh,
so yeah, so it's not worth a whole heck of a lot, but it's got a little bit of sentimental value because I got it from my mom. That and a 1983 Fleer Ryan Sandberg rookie card, which I thought, and this is the story I'm sticking to, I thought it was like a second year card because he had a couple years on the thing. Um, he had a couple years like on the back, and I never looked it up. I didn't have the price guide or anything at the time. And so I traded her like a 1992 Upper Deck Howard Johnson for it. And it ended up being his rookie card and being worth, at the time, it was worth some money. And
because the stats on the back were probably minors, weren't they?
well, no, so it had his year with the Phillies.
Oh yeah, so he
Um,
played like 5 games or something.
right. So it had his year with the Phillies, and then it had like 1 year, I think, of time split between the minors and the Cubs. Um, and so I'm like, okay, well, this is like his second year. And then no, it was not. It was his rookie card across the board. Every 83 set had a Brian Sandberg rookie in it. and I did not know that.
Yeah,
So
those are the lessons you learn in life.
yeah, that is the lessons. And everybody was like, "Oh, you ripped off your grandmother. You're such a dick." Blah blah blah. And I was little or younger at the time. I didn't know. I'm like, no, I didn't. And they're like, "You gonna tell her?" I was like, "No, she might want it back." But she didn't care. She just wanted to trade cards with me just because it was something to do that it's something that I enjoyed, and she knew that I enjoyed it. She was always buying me cards and stuff, and that's all it was to her.
Whatever you have to tell yourself.
Shut up, Dick.
Yeah,
And I wasn't even calling you a bad name. Like, that's just a nickname for Richard. So, yeah. See, I can play those mental gymnastics on all kinds of levels.
You know how you get Dick out of Richard?
Ask him nicely.
You ask him. Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. That's good.
Sometimes you just bend over in the right place.
Jesus Christ. And we've definitely crossed over, if we weren't already, into the explicit category. Congratulations.
You
Shelby.
started it with I forget what it was. Fuckwads or whatever.
Yeah,
we destroyed it out of the gate. So, but then we got into like a fun conversation about baseball cards from the 80s and whatnot.
Yeah.
And oh, yeah.
And now
so
we're talking about Rich's dick.
It's a nice dick. I'm fond of it.
I bet you are. All right, let's go. Come on, anything else other than this?
Okay, so like we kind of went through the baseball card realm, and we obviously we hit
not a Gem Mint 10, that's for sure. It's handled too much.
Zing.
Oh. Sorry, go.
That's only because it's too big to fit in protectors.
Wow.
It's like the Topps big cards, just a little oversized.
Oh, I fucking hated those cards because they would always fuck everything up. You're trying to put them in a goddamn cardboard box, and they're sticking up like idiots.
Yeah. So was it okay? Here you go. And do you remember was it Bowman? But they had
Bowman was bigger.
Yeah, they had like there was really goofy size because they wouldn't fit in anything.
Yeah,
and then they actually had like
the Topps big.
They were like those cards were like the size of a box, like the wax box.
Oh, I don't remember those.
Yeah, there was cards that were size like they weren't quite the size of a sheet of paper, but they were pretty close, and they made those for years. Because I have a it was in the mid '90s. I have a Tim Salmon of all players that I remember. I don't know why I remember crap like that, but yeah, they were big. Like they were like the size. Okay, so the way I believe they were packed, and again, I could be completely misremembering this, but they were the size of like the wax box of cards, like the packs.
Mm-hmm.
And like they would basically, I would assume that these things came at the bottom or top of one, and like you could just pull it, and then the packs would be underneath, or the packs were on top of it. And yeah, they were like a giant card, and they had those, and they had those like you guys said, like the goofy sized, bigger than a regular card, which that always aggravated me because you couldn't put them in anything. And
there was that. Remember who the hell made those? Score. I think Score made the big giant football and basketball cards in the 90s too.
Probably.
They were like really tall. Or maybe it was Pro Set.
Oh, you know what? It's funny. That reminded me. Do you guys remember the cards that were like the little books?
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to have them. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I had a shit ton of them.
Yeah, it just reminded me because I remember getting those, and then because it gave like more of a background, and then they're like a deeper stat history.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of what they were called.
Yeah,
I used to.
They came in like they were like the Magic Starter deck size packs, like little boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had there was like 4 per sport.
Was it just sports books? Was that
sport? That sounds familiar. What was there? Let's see. That could be it. Let's see.
I don't see. Of course, you look for sport books now, and it comes up with gambling.
The gambling websites. Yeah.
While you're looking it up, I was going to say I remember Sports Flicks too. I used to love them.
Yeah, they were sweet.
Little motion cards.
Those and
Oh
what was
yeah,
the
those were
one?
awesome.
There was what was remember? So I remember Richie, you had it, and I ended up getting one for Christmas, like not long after you got it. The 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 talking baseball thing, where it was
Yeah.
like a little almost record player, and you had the
Oh
big
no, it was a
1989
record player. Yeah.
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 And so you'd put the big 1989 Topps cards in it, and then it had the little like record on the back, little clear record, and it would read it. And I think it was Vin Scully doing or somebody like that
I have
doing
no idea who the players themselves talked a little bit too, because I remember that was where I first heard about the Pine Tar incident, and I
yeah.
got that stuck in my head because I remember listening to it so many times.
Collectabooks. That's what
Like
they
the
were
books.
called.
Don
Holy crap.
Drysdale. I think it came with a Don Drysdale card. That's the only reason why I know who Don Drysdale is.
Yes. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep, Collectabooks,
Shit, yeah,
1990.
collectibles.
Yep, that's what it
Oh
is.
God, I looked at it and I remember that Boomer Esiason card that's on the cover. Pro Set Collectibles.
Yep, I remember having more of the football ones than I did. Yeah, because a pro set. That's why.
Yep.
12 hot players.
Yep. Because
Wow.
there was a Randall Cunningham one.
Oh God, I probably had some of these basketball ones too somewhere.
I did. I had all the basketball ones and I had all the football ones.
Oh wow. Yeah,
And then
NBA
I used
hoops.
to yeah, NBA
NBA
hoops.
hoops.
Oh, dude, you want to talk about worthless, shitty chud cards? I used to go to Heritage's on Kings Highway after I would help my dad clean offices. And he'd be like, "All right, you want to get a snack?" I'm like, "Nope, I want NBA hoops basketball cards." He'd be like, "Why are you getting NBA hoops basketball cards?" Because I want them. I had so many of those damn cards, and they were worth nothing. They weren't worth shit then, and they're
No,
worth even less now.
you can only have so
You
many
know,
Joe Dumars cards.
Well, yeah,
I
true.
I don't remember if it was from the Heritages or not, but I remember getting those shitty little coins too. The
Oh
baseball coins.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I still have a Nolan Ryan one.
No, they're like tinfoil with like a
Yeah.
little condom wrapper around the outside of it, like a ridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, okay. All right, even better. So we stopped being able to get these because they stopped having 7-Elevens around us. But there was a time when you used to be able to go to 7-Eleven, you'd get a Slurpee, and underneath the bottom, you wouldn't like it would be packed
Yeah.
in.
It's the round one, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they would do Sportflix ones like that.
Uh,
So I had them. I had, and I'm sure I still have them somewhere, a set of like 1986 Sportflix Kellogg's cards.
yeah,
The
I remember from this
endless,
cereal.
yeah,
There was it was beef jerky, but it wasn't like regular beef jerky. It was like beef jerky that was shredded up into like a almost like snuff.
yeah.
And they had baseball cards in them too. And I remember having a card that just smelled like beef jerky because it was packed in there with them.
That sounds delightful.
Those
It was,
those coins, man, that you brought up, and it's so funny. They made those for a long time too, like
oh
over the
yeah,
years.
yes they did. Yeah, I think it was Tops too, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was Tops. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have some too now. Sorry, I didn't mean to like. It's just
Oh, that's okay.
that's a great memory, man. That's so
I used to
cool.
have like it was a really cheap because I remember cracking even back then. It was like you could buy the set, and it was like a binder that you would open up three ways, and it had all the cards snapped into the thing.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. Yeah,
Uh,
amazing.
So much of that collectible. And what's funny is, we were all collecting it because we were kids and stuff. And then in the
just
90s hit, and then in the
everyone,
90s,
yeah,
yeah, literally everyone. And not only everyone was collecting them, especially adults, it became a
yeah,
speculator's market, just like comic books did.
and
And then
crashed.
and it crashed hard. But they were making cards out of everything. Like we already talked about Desert Storm cards. I remember having Simpsons cards. I remember having Terminator 2 Judgment Day cards. I remember we used to go to the corner store that was at the corner of Tomlin Station
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Kings
I
Highway and get the Ghostbusters cards.
I tried to put together a Dick Tracy set from there too. I think I did.
Oh God, I still have some
Yeah.
unopened Dick Tracy packs.
Oh, there you go, Rich.
Yeah, there you go.
You
Yeah.
might have the extra cards that you need.
And the Batman movie, Batman '89.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I remember not only did they have the Batman '89, but I guess because it was the '90s or whatever, they had the Batman '89 movie Stadium Club cards,
Yes.
which were even more expensive. Yes.
Yep. I remember them. But I mean, but honestly, those Stadium Club cards were
Oh, they
super
were
nice.
good quality. Yes, yeah, I could give it. Yeah,
They were super nice. But I mean, again, did we need 2 different Batman '89 sets? No. And they continued that with Batman Returns, because I remember something about there being like a Catwoman card or something from the Stadium Club. But I remember seeing it. I don't remember, because I never got any of the Batman Stadium Club cards. At that point, I was. Oh, wait, what?
No, I was gonna say I've got a bunch of those. You're talking about comics, and it's reminded me of the Marvel cards from the '90s. I don't know which ones I would have. I'd have to look back. But those, you guys remember those, don't you? Early '90s
Oh yeah, I
Marvel
was just going to
cards.
say I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
when we first started talking. I know exactly where they are in the basement too. I got the first 3 sets of those in the binder
Nice.
because they were
correct me if I'm
awesome.
wrong.
Because I was like, good.
The first series was the first series the one that had like the little, like almost like a little scroll with the name. It was a white and black border that had the name in like a yellow little banner thing at the bottom.
Yes, yeah, and then they had like there was it was the same thing. So I wouldn't even call it a subset, but they had like the weapons, and then you had Spider-Man interviewing people in these comical interviews, and then you had a Stan Lee card in that set.
Yep, I remember that.
And then good.
I loved that set, and I loved the second set that came out that had the more like chunky border and it was a little bit more techy looking. And I remember getting a Punisher hologram down the shore in Ocean City. But then the next series that came out with that cosmic background.
Yeah, it was just because there's like a black star field. Yeah.
I would normally love that, but for whatever reason I just did not like that set.
I remember the second set. I was so excited because I had Gambit's rookie card in quotes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I had Sleepwalker's rookie card. So not quite comparable.
But you were talking
he's
about.
Supposed to be in the new who's he? What's it movie?
Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I of all the characters in Marvel's long and storied history, Sleepwalker was the last one I expected to make it onto the silver screen.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about Impel earlier, which obviously that kind of goes into the Marvel cards as well. But do you remember Impel Laughs? LAFFS?
No.
Was that? No.
Oh, you don't remember those?
No.
Look up 1991 Impel Laughs, Steve Urkel.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes. TGIF cards.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
There was that. I was thinking something else when you mentioned that. There was this. They were baseball cards, but they were the Looney Tunes characters playing baseball.
I remember them. They were Upper Deck.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they were.
You know what,
man?
I'm glad Impel went out of business.
Come on,
fuck
why?
them. No, because I don't need a fucking DJ Tanner card. Although I'll take a DJ Tanner card. I'll take a DJ Tanner card over a fucking Steve Urkel card, but no.
Was DJ Tanner? That was the old one, right? Candace, whatever.
Candace Cameron, yeah.
Oh yeah, those Looney Tunes were the comic ball cards. I remember those.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got some of those. Yeah, I'm gonna have to really dig through and see, because I know I've got some really weird stuff.
My brother had gotten some of those comic ball cards, because that was when they were trying to, like, I guess my parents were like, oh, well, he doesn't really like baseball, but maybe if we get him these, he'll like baseball. And it didn't work.
Yeah, I remember those. Those are cool.
Buying packs of baseball cards until every year for Christmas, my grandma would give me the top set. I'm like, well, if we can get the whole set, I don't need to buy them during the year anymore.
Right.
That's what kind of got me stopped.
Right. Well, no, I see, and I just, I just loved the thrill of opening the packs and then hoping I got something cool. And I remember, Deptford Mall used to have all kinds of card shows all the time, and I had given my mom I bought a couple packs of 1991 Upper Deck, and I let my mom open the one in the car, and she goes, I'm like, all right, who'd you get, Mom? And she goes, I got this person, this person, this person, and Michael Jordan.
Ah.
And I'm like, no, you didn't. And she's like, yes, I did. I'm like, get out of here, you did not. And she's like, yes, I did. And I'm like, and I got real mad because I thought she was going to keep it, because that was the year, that was before Michael Jordan actually joined the White Sox. They made this card because he came in, he did batting practice or whatever, and they made this just extra card that they added to the set.
Short print.
Yeah. And so but she ended up pulling that card from a pack that we got at the Deptford Mall, and I was fucking pissed.
Mhm.
But I ended up with it in the end, so it's all good.
So I pulled this article, and it was talking about some of the like the really oddball ones, and this one really struck out to me because I remember having some of these too, the good old Alf cards.
I never had Alf cards.
Yeah, I remember.
There's an Alf comic that's worth a little bit of money because on the cover it looks like he's having sex with a walrus. Seal? I think it's a seal.
Oh,
And
we got the seal of approval.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. I think I had like one Alf comic book, and I did have the talking Alf stuffed animal.
Oh yeah. That
Oh,
was
that's
cool because it was electronic, so it didn't. You know, all those string ones. Whenever like they got older, you'd pull the string and they talk real fast.
right.
But because he was electronic, he didn't do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's too fucking funny.
Yeah.
I had completely forgotten about oh shit, I had Alf #1. I wish I still did, because it's worth a decent amount of money now. But I think I threw it out.
Why would
But
you
it had
throw anything with Alf away? Come on now.
Okay. Well,
It's Alf in Pog form.
It's it's Alf, but in Pog form.
Oh,
Oh
Alf.
my god. Do not buy if safety seal is missing. That's what the Alf comic says. I'm gonna send it to you guys right now, because why not? But Jesus, like, what were they thinking? Well, no, we know what they were thinking.
Oh yeah, just look at Alf's face.
Yeah,
big
Alf's like, oh,
big old snout for a reason.
big old dick nose.
Yeah,
And he was all about eating pussy.
exactly.
Yes, he was. Yes,
And
he was.
for all of you people that are just now getting all the good Alf references, you're welcome.
Yes.
And we're sad that it took you this long to get it.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because apparently the voice of Alf and all that, he was a douchebag, and so he probably made them say that he loved to eat cats, just to pop himself.
Good old Alf. Yeah, it is pretty crazy though. Some of the stuff that was released, I'm just seeing like Saved by the Bell cards and some of this. I don't remember any of this stuff. But yeah, you're right though, Bob. You mentioned like the Terminator 2 cards, and late 80s into the early 90s, they really released like.
I wish I still had these, but I had Little Shop of Horror cards.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't remember if it was from the movie, or I think they were probably movie cards. But there was also a cartoon for like half a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the cartoon of that. No, the cartoon that was the best though, that I still to this day I don't understand. I guess, well, besides the Toxic Crusaders, I don't understand.
Crusaders.
Oh yeah, dude. No, don't get me wrong. That was a fantastic show. I don't understand how Attack of the Killer Tomatoes got made as a kids cartoon show.
Well, as a kid, if you watch that second movie, the first movie was junk, but the second movie was awesome. And you kind of, after watching the second one, was one of the first movies that George Clooney was the star of, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, and that's what always blew my mind. Like, as I got older and I realized, oh, that was Tom Clooney, that was George Clooney. How
and John Astin.
Sean Astin?
No, John
Oh, John
Astin,
Astin.
the dad. He played Dr. Gangrene. He
Oh,
also did the
oh,
voice in the cartoon. Yeah,
oh, did he?
he reprised his role again because that was
Oh,
after like he's still alive. He just turned 92. I think it was
John,
92.
say John Astin was the original
Yeah.
Gomez.
Yes, he was. Yep.
Yep.
oh, okay. Well, did you like? I just put it together. Like, God, probably not too long ago, maybe like 5 years ago. That dude from the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes cartoon show was supposed to be George Clooney.
Yeah.
It was such a terrible caricature. Like, I guess they did it for
Yeah,
likeness
the
rights.
rights
They didn't
reason,
have to
yeah.
pay him. But I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, they like I said, the first movie it's good for what it is, but they kind of I don't even want to get. I mean, I have them all on Blu-ray right now, so I don't even want to get into it. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yes.
Rich, those Little Shop of Horror cards, they were a movie series and looked like there was
Okay, yeah,
40 something of them. But yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know those existed. That's something
that
I've
was another flea market thing. Like just, oh, these look cool. I'll buy these.
I
Nice.
feel like this is something I'm gonna have to get Danielle at some point because she's
Uh,
absolutely big Little Shop fan. So that's awesome.
See,
Yeah.
now we just need to come out with a Rocky Horror Picture Show card set.
oh, they've had them. I'm sure they've had them.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. I just need to find them.
Let's see.
I think I still have it somewhere. A Garbage Pail Kid card. This Rocky Horror. So it's a Garbage
Oh,
Pail
I
Kid that
remember
looks like
that.
Tim Curry. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that card, and I remember not getting it when I was little. I was just
Uh,
like, okay, it's just a guy dressed up like a
yeah.
chick. All right, whatever. And then, like, I watched the movie, and I'm like, oh, Rocky
Oh,
Horror.
the movie, by the way. Oh, the Rocky Horror. There was a Garbage Pail Kids movie that starred Mackenzie Aston. It was his second kid, not Sean Aston, who was famous, but the other son.
Wow.
And
Well,
he took the.
I remember the Garbage Pail Kids movie. I remember wanting to see it so bad. My parents wouldn't take me to see it, and I still just haven't watched it.
It's a
Yeah,
fun watch. It's not a good
there's
movie, but it's fun.
there's Rocky Horror Picture
Oh
Show
yeah.
trading cards out there. There's several years worth of them too.
Oh shit!
Yeah, interesting.
Nice.
1980
All right.
seems to be the big one.
Well, yeah, that's probably the best one too.
Wow, very cool.
Well, I think that was a good talk. I think maybe we need to do some more nostalgia themed episodes.
I
in
love the
future.
fact that we dove right into that without seriously, like we were going to do cover songs part 2. We've got a whole note sheet on this that we
Yeah.
were all signed into.
Right, and
And
this this
off
is
the
actually named cover songs part 2, but maybe we'll have to do cover songs part 3 and actually talk about cover songs.
Yeah, this is yeah, no, this was fun. This is so cool because it's it's funny, like just the mention of the coins and stuff like that. It just really, those memories just flood back. Really neat.
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely.
Nice trip down memory lane, boys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Richie, for being with us. Tom, it's been a pleasure as always. Till next time, guys, make sure you check us out on Twitter, on Facebook, and at doublewidecoffin.com and corndogbuttplug.com. I mean, wait, big beefy shootyboys.com, if I can remember my own fucking website. For fuck's sake. Till next time, we have been the Noise Brigade. Have a good night.